Hi, my name is Ariela Cerdas, Cuza, and I'm going to present my internship project that it's a plan for the management of the human resources to adapt the change of the geographical location to facilitate the process. So I made my internship in the SINAC, that is the Sistema Nacional de Áreas de Conservación. This is an extension from the MINAE, and they are in charge of managing our national parks. So the problem here was that they were seeing the need of buying a new building because they were paying a lot of money in rent, and in the process they faced a lot of resistance because they said that were a lot of work part of the workforce that they were not very happy with the change. So here is where it comes my part, and my part was to make this plan so we can confront that resistance that it exists by now in the institution. And I was going to make this by following these objectives. So the main objective was to design an applicable work plan to reduce resistance to change of employees in order to facilitate the process of moving to the new work place. The first step of this was to analyze and determine the conclusions based on the investigation. So I made an investigation by interviews, and with this, I analyzed the results and I determined where the conclusions and why is that there's resistance, the whys, and in this way, I have the base to develop the plan and then carry out a pilot plan to measure the effectiveness of the plan. So the scope of this project was not only to facilitate the process of moving and changing, but also in this process we can take care of the motivation of the workforce and also the effectiveness of how the whole institution works. So this is the process that it took. The first phase was the investigation. So we made interviews so we can identify what are those things that are making this resistance. So after analyzing the results, these were the main conclusions. And the first one is that the workforce perceive more advantages than disadvantages. This is something good. And with that, we can say that there are less disadvantages, and we can divide that into parts. The first one is that there's it's perceived that this place where it's located, the Parque Ecológico, before called Indio Parque, it's a complex geographical area. And the second one, it's that they perceive a bad management and lack of trust regarding the leadership teamwork that it's taking care of all this project of moving. So we divide these two, and we select and we segmented these two in the categories that are in the resistance pyramid. So the first one, the complex geographical area, it's in the first part of the pyramid that it's not willing, and the bad management and lack of trust will be located in the not knowing. In this way, we have a better perception of how to go ahead and make the plan and confront this resistance. So the second phase was to make the plan itself. So the first part of our plan was the leadership plan. This was like a list of steps in which the leadership teamwork can follow to first make sure that all the goals and all the tasks are being complete in the best way possible. And the second is to build this atmosphere of trust and confidence that the workforce needs to reduce the resistance. The second one was the communication plan, since we realized in the conclusions of the investigation that the main reason of why the workforce were feeling in this way is because they don't know anything about how it's this process of moving going. So I developed this communication plan that it looks really simple to understand, but in the depth of it, It has a lot of neurobiology that explains why this is going to work, and this is explained in the report that I made for the institution. As you can see, this is composed of 3 steps for the internal communication and 3 steps for the communication with the workforce. Also, there's this motivation plan that it's actually made understanding first how is that motivation works. So we made a plan taking care of the process of motivation, and based on that is that we made all the process of how we're going to motivate the workforce, but also it's important to create alternatives to the perceptions that they are getting of things that are not working for them, that are not being a source of benefit. So I made these proposals that you can see here: relocation, collective transport, carpooling, telecommuting, and I actually made all an explanation of how this can work, but this needs to be presented to the human resource management of the institution, and they have to choose which is the best one. So in this way, we can provide the workforce of a solution for their problem, and they can feel motivated. Also, I made these plans, but also I provide of this tool that has different tools that are needed to execute the plan in the best way. In limitations, we have the third phase of this project, since we face a pandemic and it was something that we can't control. So all my process of internship was delayed. In this way, I was not able to make the pilot plan because the institution told me that this part needs to be executed in another moment. But the good thing is that we're going to execute this part of the project in any moment. I'm just waiting for them to tell me when, and I'm totally willing to collaborate with this part. In conclusions and recommendations, I can say that based on the investigation that we made, I can assure that the plans are going to work and are going to be effective to reduce the resistance, since we have a base and since we have a reference, and we are providing alternatives to make solutions to the real problems that we have, and not only making solutions of something that we don't know. So the recommendation is to follow the plan step by step, completing all the steps, and we can make sure that this is going to be totally effective. Thank you so much for the time, and I hope you like my project. I really enjoyed doing this project because it's something that I really like to do, to make projects that are related to human resources leadership. So I really enjoyed this process. Thank you so much.